On Andrew, 2-0. Hardhats took game one in extra innings, 7-6. They had a 6-2 lead. Cheyenne rallied, scored 4 in the bottom of the 6th. They went to 8 innings, and the Hardhats got the 1 run that they needed to win the game. Next pitch to Andrew and skips away from him to the backstop, so he has a favorable count at 3-0. Post 22 looking for the sweep, and a perfect start to the season through 3 games. 3-0 to Andrew. Full windup for Messer, and he deals inside for ball 4. So it's a 4-pitch walk issued to Ryan Andrew. With 1 out, there is a man aboard, and that's going to bring up R.J. Prince, the third baseman. So the top 5 in the order, 6 in the order, I should say, all stay identical for Cheyenne. Prince batted in the 3 spot last time. He went 0 for 4 in game 1. And the first pitch he sees, called strike on the outside corner, and he starts behind 0-1. Prince has a man on first and 1 out here in the bottom of the first. Still scoreless in game 2 of this doubleheader. Messer takes a look at the runner on first and checks down to first. Throws not in time. So we still have yet to see the 0-1 pitch. We started this game at 2:20. We're already 10 minutes into it. Here comes the 0-1. Breaking ball, swung on and fouled. And Prince is in an 0-2 hole. Pedroza on deck if the double play does not end the inning. No balls and 2 strikes to count to Prince. Man on first and 1 out here in the bottom of the first. Still scoreless in game 2 of this doubleheader between the Sixers and the Hardhats. 0-2. Swung on, popped up, foul. Sorensen chases and watches it sail over the fence. And so we will hold at an 0-2 count. The wind picked up just a little bit, and now there's some cloud cover. The sun not shining us through nearly as much here in game 2. No balls, 2 strikes to count here to R.J. Prince with a man on first and 1 out. Drew Messer in the start. Throws the 0-2. Just missed. And the count now at a ball and 2 strikes. If the double play ends the inning, the Hardhats will start off with 4, 5, and 6 in the order, leading off with Zach Sumption. If not, cleanup hitter Max Pedroza is on deck. 1-2 from Messer. Swung on and chopped foul. And Prince stays alive, a ball and 2 strikes. Taking his lead off at first is Ryan Andren. 4-pitch walk got him there with 1 out. 1-2. Caught him looking. Strike 3. Breaking ball on the outside corner, and Drew Messer gets strikeout number 1 and the second out of this top half of the first. That'll bring up Max Pedroza. Messer, as I mentioned, had 6 strikeouts in the first game of the season for the Hardhats. That is number 7 for him on the year. And so 2 outs, bottom of the first. Pedroza's up with a man on first. And his first pitch misses low and away for ball 1. Pedroza in game 1 went 1 for 4, lined into a double play, had a single, and scored a run as well. 1-0 his count, a man on first. 2 outs here in the bottom of the first, still scoreless. And Messer deals, swung on, and it's fouled. First base side and out of play. And the count evens up at a ball and a strike. Cody Brooks, the starting pitcher on deck. Left-handed batter, right-handed pitcher. 1-1 Pedroza. Breaking ball just missed. 2 balls and a strike. Pedroza keeps the inning going. Brooks on deck. If not, heart of the order up for the Hardhats. Check to first. Snared by Sorensen, but it's not there in time. Two balls and a strike to Max Pedroza playing at first base in Game 2 of this doubleheader for the Sixers. And the 2-1 from Messer misses low, 3 balls and a strike. Messer will look to the runner at first. That's Andren. 3-1. Misses low and away, ball 4. So it's the second walk of the inning for Messer. This one comes with 2 outs. And Andren will take to second, so a man in scoring position and a man on first. And that will bring up Cody Brooks, the starting pitcher. First pitch from Messer. Swung on, and that ball is pushed to left. Weaver is on his horse, and he makes the catch on the run. And that will do it. So the Hardhats don't surrender any runs, or for that matter, any hits. There were no errors charged to them on defense. 2 men left on the base path, 1 in scoring position. We have played 1 inning of play, and unlike the Game 1 counterpart we played earlier today, we have no score so far between the Sixers and the Hardhats. We'll take a quick recess, and we'll be back with the top of the second and the heart of the Hardhats order in just a few moments here on ESPN Rapid City and on the internet on Hardhats-TV. Post 22 comes back to offense as we transition to the top half of the second inning. 0-0 score with Cody Brooks back on the mound throwing some warm-up pitches. And the rest of his Cheyenne Post 6 defensive alignment preparing as well. Let's go ahead and recap that defensive alignment. Again, Cody Brooks, who played at first base last game, the starting pitcher in Game 2. He's paired up with his battery mate and catcher, Matthew Semler. At first is Max Pedroza. At second, Nico Vite. At shortstop, Ryan Andren, and in the hot corner at third is R.J. Prince. Left to right in the outfield, Jackson Hesford, Storm Nelson, and Alec Clark. Zach Sumption, Alex Weaver, and Jack Sorensen are due up in this top half of the second. They are in that same order as they were in Game 1. Sumption starts off. He went 1 for 5. Scored twice, reached on an error, had an RBI ground out, struck out twice. And was also charged with an error on defense. So Sumption comes into the batter's box, right-handed batter, against the right-handed throwing Brooks. 0-0 the score, top of the second. We just started the half inning. First pitch from Brooks. Misses low and away, ball 1. Sumption through 3 games is hitting .111, only 1 hit on 9 at-bats. Next pitch is fouled off, and his count evens up at a ball and a strike. Sumption, though, does have an RBI, and he scored twice. Reached on an error once. He struck out 3 times and walked once. Yet to be hit by a pitch. 1-1. Swung on and missed. And Sumption's count now goes to a ball and 2 strikes. Brooks looking for his second strikeout in this start. And the 1-2 to Sumption. Missed low and away. And the count is even 2-2. Two balls, 2 strikes to Sumption. Hardhats right fielder leads off the top of the second. And the 2-2 is swung on and chopped right back to Brooks on the mound. He snares it. Throw to first is in time. 1-3 in the scorebook. 1 up, 1 down for the Hardhats on offense. 4 in a row retired by Brooks and his Sixers defense. That'll bring up Alex Weaver, the left fielder. Weaver went 0 for 4 in Game 1 with a sacrifice bunt and a strikeout. Looking for his first hit of the day. Full windup for Brooks, and here's the first pitch. Swung on and fouled over our press box. And the count starts off at 0-1 for the Hardhats left fielder. And here comes the 0-1. That skips low, and the count evens up. Got a ball and a strike. So 1-1 now to Weaver. Brooks a full windup, and he deals. Called strike. Inside corner right at his knees. And it's 1-2 now. And the 1-2 misses high. No, he caught him. Or did he not? No, that was a mixed signal there. 2-2. Thought he had called ball. Next one is swung on and chopped to the right side of the infield. Brooks off the mound is there. Tossed to first again is in time. There's a tad bit of confusion there from the umpire. So 2-1-3 putouts. 5 in a row retired from the Hardhats. And that will bring up Jack Sorensen playing at first base in this second matchup. First pitch. Swung on and fouled off. 0-1 the count. Sorensen was responsible for the winning run. Scored in the top of the 8th. He singled to get on the base path, and then a passed ball from then catcher Max Pedroza allowed him to take 2 different bases. He got to third, was knocked in by Jace Coldwell. And that was all she wrote. Sorensen overall in the game ended up going 1 for 3 with a walk and a sac fly RBI as well, with the run scored. 0-1 from Brooks. Inside, caught the corner, strike 2. 2 called strikes. Called strike and then a foul. 0-2 now to Sorensen. And the pitch. Swung on and the ball is chopped to third. Stops mid on the play by Prince. And the throw to first is in time, and that'll do it. Well, the Hardhats have been retired 6 in a row. Another 1-2-3 inning for them on offense, which means no runs, hits, errors, or anybody left on base. And at the end of an inning and a half, the Sixers and the Hardhats in their rematch in this doubleheader are still scoreless. We'll go to the bottom half of the second inning with 6-7 and 8-2 up, starting off with the catcher Matthew Semler in just a few moments here on ESPN Rapid City and streamed live on the internet on Hardhats-TV. For those fans tuning in now that are Rapid City Rush hockey fans, if you have no plans tomorrow, the team will have a watch party for the Stanley Cup playoffs. Game 6 between the Vegas Golden Knights and the San Jose Sharks tomorrow night at around 5:30 at Patty O'Neill's in downtown Rapid City. The last watch party that we had was while our NHL affiliate, the Minnesota Wild, were still in the playoffs, and that was a fantastic success. That was actually up in Deadwood. There was a blast going up there. It's not often that I get a chance to go up to Deadwood and enjoy that scene. So that was a lot of fun to see just about 30-plus people come out. We had a cornhole tournament the last time. We're going to figure out some more fun to have at this next watch party, but it is tomorrow at 5:30, Patty O'Neill's in Rapid City. Vegas and San Jose, Game 6. Vegas has a 3-2 lead in the series, so if they win, they will go in their first year in the National Hockey League to the Western Conference Finals. Matthew Semler leads off the bottom half of the second for the Sixers. He is playing catcher in this game. His first pitch is low and inside for ball one. Semler played right field in Game 1. He walked twice, tripled, came around to score, and struck out. So he went 1 for 2. His 1-0 is chopped to third. Hegre gets the stop on a nice hop. His throw to first is not in time. So it's an infield single for Matthew Semler. That is the first hit of the ball game between both sides. And that brings up Jackson Hesford with a man on and no one out here in the bottom of the 7th. Left-handed hitting left fielder for the Sixers. Drew Messer takes a look at the man on first. And the pitch. This is low. Schmidt gets the block. It's 1-0. Hesford batted in the 9th spot in Game 1, and he went 1 for 3 with a walk, a single, and a run scored. So he's been moved up 2 spots in the order. Storm Nelson's been moved down to the 9th spot, and then Alec Clark, who's on deck, making his first appearance in the series. Next pitch from Messer. Misses up high. 2-0. Man on first and no one out here in the bottom of the second. We're still scoreless in Game 2 of this doubleheader. And Messer deals. Swung on and the ball's fouled. Fencing right in front of us behind home plate. And it's now 2 balls and a strike to the Sixers left fielder. Two and 1 the count. Messer takes a look at first. The runner is Semler with the infield single. 2-1 pitch. This is outside, 3-1. Messer trying to get the fastball working there. So 3 balls and a strike now the count for the left-handed hitting Jackson Hesford. One of 2 lefties he'll see in this game. 3-1. Inside, ball 4. And so now that is 3 walks in the first inning plus of work for Messer. Alec Clark making his debut to this series comes up. He's the right fielder for the Sixers. He has men on first and second and no one out. He shows bunt. Sorensen comes in to charge from first. Messer deals and it's fouled. 0-1 the count here to Clark. Wouldn't be surprised to see Clark show bunt again. Sorensen parallel with a mound. And now he shows it, and the pitch is a breaking ball upstairs. 2-0. Or, excuse me, 1-1, my apologies. Ball and a strike. Now to Clark. He showed bunt on the first 2 pitches. See if he goes for 3, and he is. And he pops the bunt foul. Down the third base line. Ball and 2 strikes now the count. So that's a big break there for the Hardhats, but now Clark can swing away. He couldn't get the bunt down, so now he'll have to put it in play and see what happens. Ball and 2 strikes to count. Clark steps back in after taking a signal from his third base coach. Messer takes his time. He'll pitch from the stretch. 2 men on, nobody out. And the 1-2. Swung on. The ball's hit right back off the glove of Messer. Messer fields it, and he's going to hang on to it. So an infield single for Alec Clark. The second of this inning. And now it's bases loaded and no one out. Here in the bottom half of the second. Just an unlucky break, and that was a well-hit ball. And that is a hit. So 2 infield singles in this inning. And Messer will take on Storm Nelson. First pitch. Upstairs, fastball. It's ball 1. Nelson batted in the 8-hole last game. And he went 0 for 2 with 2 strikeouts before he was substituted by Dawson McCleary. And then he was substituted by Guy Lowe. The latter two got on base. McCleary with the hit by pitch. Lowe with a single. Next pitch is swung on and missed. 1-1 now the count here to Nelson, the center fielder. Great set of wheels on him as well. He made a lot of great defensive plays at center field in game 1. Hardhats are in a jam, though. Bottom of the second inning. Bases loaded. No one out here in game 2. We're still scoreless. Next pitch swung on and missed. And Nelson's behind 0-2. Excuse me, 1-2. Drew Messer is looking for his second strikeout. And boy, we did come at a very important time. 1-2 pitch. Swung on and the ball's popped up. Underneath it is Tyson Elliott at second, and he makes the catch. So a pop 4 in the book, 1 out. Bases are still loaded. Back to the top of the order we go to Nico Vite. Vite 0 for 1. He grounded out to third in his first at-bat. He has a chance to do some damage. First pitch. Misses low. Schmidt comes up with the block. It's 1-0. The benefit here for the Hardhats is that the double play ends the inning. Every base is occupied and there's 1 out. So if the ball manages to come to the middle infield, they can get out of this and just a sequence of throws. 1-0. Swung on, and that ball is ripped into left field. Weaver's underneath it. He makes the catch. Tagging up from third and coming home to score for the Sixers. On the play is Matthew Semler, who led off the inning with an infield single. And it's a sac fly RBI for Nico Vite. And the Sixers strike first once again. They have a 1-0 lead with 2 outs. Men on first and second here in the bottom of the second. Ryan Andren comes up now with 2 outs, men on first and second. He walked in his first at-bat on 4 pitches. And his first pitch is a called strike, fastball. And it's 0-1 to start off for the Sixer shortstop. Hesford on second. He's the most immediate threat on the base path. Alec Clark 90 feet behind him on first. 2 outs now, bottom of the second. It's 1-0 Sixers. Next pitch, off-speed pitch drops in there for a strike. 0-2 quickly the count here against Andrew. Messer looking for the punch out to end it. And he steps off the rubber. He'll take some time to think. This next pitch will be his 37th of the start. And now Cooper Bowman from short and Schmidt from behind home plate are going to come to the mound for a bit. Stepping back into the box is Andrew. Messer looks like he's ready to go. He takes the sign, and now he's set. He'll come from the stretch. 0-2 pitch. Missed low and away, and the count goes to 1-2. One ball and 2 strikes to count. Messer looking for a second strikeout. It would end the second inning. And here comes the 1-2. Swung on and fought off foul down the first base line. Count holds at 1-2 for Andrew. Men on first and second. 2 outs here in the bottom of the second. Cheyenne has already struck once this frame. It is 1-0. 2 games in a row, they've had the first word. Messer from the stretch. 1-2. Swung on, popped up. Foul territory. Down the right field line. Sumption comes in to make the catch, and that will end it. So the Hardhats end another threat, but they did allow a run. It was a run on a pair of hits. No errors charged to the Hardhats, and 2 men left on the base path, another 1 in scoring position. We've played 2 innings, and for a second game in a row, Cheyenne has struck first. They have a 1-0 lead. We'll go to the top of the third. And the bottom third of the Hard Hats order due up in just a few moments here on ESPN Rapid City and on Hardhats-TV. Post 22 Hard Hats Baseball here on ESPN Rapid City is presented by Courtesy Subaru, Shields, Qdoba Mexican Eats, Renewal by Anderson, Sicky's Garage Burgers and Brews, Mustang Disaster Cleanup, and the Man Salon. We've played 2 innings. We have only 1 run. It belongs to the host squad, Cheyenne Post 6 Sixers. Numbers across the board for the Hard Hats, it's 3 zeros. No runs, hits, or errors. For the Sixers, 1 run on 2 hits with no errors. Cody Brooks back on the mound for the Sixers. He will take on the bottom third of the order. Hasn't allowed a hit, hasn't allowed a base runner. Top of the 3rd inning, the Hard Hats trailing 1-0. Holden Jackson will take his first at-bat of the season. He got the start on the mound on Wednesday night. Did not play in Game 1. His first pitch misses low for ball 1. Every now and then last season, Jackson got a couple of chances to bat. Here comes his 1-0. That skips low. 2 balls, no strikes. Every now and then he would also play in the outfield. He batted in 17 games last year, and he had a .211 batting average. 6 RBI. 2-0. That's inside. 3 balls, no strikes to count. Holden Jackson, the designated hitter in the second game of the doubleheader. And the 3-0 called strike inside. It's 3-1. Jackson leading off the top of the 3rd. The Hard Hats looking for their first run of Game 2. Down 1-0. 3-1 swung on, and it's chopped over the head of Brooks. It comes to Andrew at short on the hop, and the throw to first is bobbled. And Jackson's safe. And that's another error to the Cheyenne infield, their first one of this ballgame. So the Hard Hats caught a break there. And I believe that's going to be an E3. So leadoff man is on. And that is going to bring us to Ryan Schmidt, the catcher. Check to first, and Jackson's back. Schmidt went 2 for 4 in the first game, also was hit by a pitch. 2 singles, one of them was an RBI single. His next pitch is swung on, hit high in the air to left, giving chase into left, and making the catch just on the foul line is Jackson Hesford. So Schmidt's retired. F7. 1 down with a man on first. That'll bring up Tyson Elliott making his Hard Hats debut. He is also wearing the number 15. Not to be confused with Zach Sumption. I am sure that will change later. So Elliott making his Hard Hats debut. First pitch from Brooks. Called strike right at his belt. 0-1 the count here to Elliott. Cody Brooks pitching from the stretch with Jackson on first. Not that big a lead. 0-1. That's way upstairs. Ball and a strike. 1-1 the count here to the 9-hole hitter for the Hard Hats. If Elliott doesn't hit into the double play, then we'll go back to the top of the order. Man on, 1 out. 1-1, buzzed the tower, nearly hit him in the bucket. 2-1 now the count here to Elliott. Brooks coming from the stretch. 2-1. Called strike on the outside corner, and it's 2-2. Holden Jackson on first, reached on an error. 2-2. High and away, and the count goes full for Elliott. Top of the order on deck, that's Cooper Bowman. Flew out to center field in his first at-bat. Payoff pitch coming from Brooks. And he deals. Inside, ball 4. So that's the first walk that Brooks has surrendered in this game. It comes with 1 out and advances Holden Jackson to scoring position. So men on first and second with 1 out here in the top of the third. Hardhats are trailing 1-0. And we're back to the top of the order to Cooper Bowman. Bowman again, 0 for 1. Flew out to center field in his first at-bat in the top half of the first. He is in a leadoff position in this game. First pitch. Called strike. Fastball outside corner. It's 0-1. If the double play doesn't end the inning prematurely, Connor King's on deck. But the umpire saw something that we all didn't, I guess. Brooks a double take to second. Now a triple. And that was called strike. 2-2. Bowman tried to call time, and they didn't, because he just kind of shrugged out of his stance. So an unfortunate mishap there. 2 balls, 2 strikes now the count. And Brooks comes from the stretch. And the pitch. Swung on and fouled off. Bowman stays alive. 2-2 now the count. Standing on second, Holden Jackson. On first, Tyson Elliott. And the pitch is swung on and hit high in the air to left field. 3 gentlemen converge, and it drops out of play, foul. And the count will hold at 2-2. So 2 balls, 2 strikes to the Hardhats shortstop. Lead-off batter. Top of the third inning, 1 out, 2 men on. Hardhats trail 1-0. And here comes the 2-2. Swung on, ball is hit high in the air, but foul. That goes over our press box. And the count will hold even at 2-2. Bowman. 2-2. Swung on, and that's fouled off. It's still in field, and then it goes on top of the Hardhats dugout. And out of play. Brooks about to throw his 50th pitch. And he's only through 2 1/3 of work. Payoff pitch to Bowman. Inside, ball 4. So Bowman battles hard, and he gets a 1-out walk. That's going to load the bases up. Jackson to third, Elliott to second. And now it brings up Connor King with a chance to tie this game and maybe even blow it open. Every base is occupied. The Cheyenne infield's at normal depth. Double play ends the inning. And the first pitch is way outside for ball 1. King is 0 for 1 in this ball game. He struck out in his first at-bat. Connor King did have an RBI single back in game 1. Brooks steps on the rubber and looks in for the sign. One-0 to King is high. 2 balls, no strikes. Matt Hegre is on deck. Also 0 for 1 in this game. The first 6 batters were retired by Brooks. This third inning's given him a tad bit of trouble. Hasn't given up a run yet, but every base is occupied, and there's only 1 out. Next pitch, caught the outside part of the plate, low and away. 2-1 now the count. Right at the knees of King. The most immediate threat on the base path is Holden Jackson. He's 90 feet away from scoring. Elliott's on second, Bowman's on first. 2-1. Swung on and missed. And the count evens up to 2-2 now for King. Brooks looking for his second punch-out, or to induce the double play. 2-2. Swung on, and the ball is chopped to short. Andrew gets the stop to second for 1, and that's all they're going to get. An RBI fielder's choice for Connor King. A 6'4" fielder's choice. And wait a second, they got him out at third, I believe. Yeah, they got Tyson Elliott out at third. He walked off. And so that's a big mishap for the Hardhats. It's a second out. But now it's 2 outs. Men on first and second. And that's going to bring up Matt Hegre. So a bad miscue there by Tyson Elliott. And Hegre's first pitch is fouled off. 0-1 the count. Just as soon as you think things are routine, something out of the blue happens, and that's all she wrote. No balls and a strike here to Hegre. 0 for 1. He grounded out to short to end a 1-2-3 top of the first. And the pitch. Swung on. Ball's hit high in the air. Foul territory, first base line. Semler chasing it, and the ball is dropped. Coming in from second to try and make a play as well was Nico Vite. I don't know if there was some good communication or if the ball got away from both of them, but ball drops. That's a second life for Hegre. Arguments could be made. He should be out. So no balls and 2 strikes to count here to Hegre. With 2 outs and men on first and second here in the top of the third, we're tied at 1. RBI fielder's choice for Connor King with the bases loaded. Knocked in the tying run. And here comes, from Brooks, the 0-2. Swung on, and that ball is ripped into right center. That drops for a base hit. Hegre wanted to call for time, didn't get it, and just swung away. He knocks in Cooper Bowman, and advancing to third is Connor King. A 2-out RBI single for Matt Hegre, his first hit of the day, and the Hardhats now have a 2-1 lead. Bowman scoring all the way from second. That was a weird sequence because once again, Hegre kept calling for time, never got it. So he said, you know what, I'm just going to swing away, and he ripped one right by the second baseman, Nico Vite. So 2 outs, and the Hardhats now have the lead, and men on the corners for Zach Sumption. Cleanup hitter is 0 for 1, and his first pitch is popped up into right. In pursuit is Alec Clark in foul territory, and he makes the catch, and that quickly ends the threat. So the Hardhats, despite some very interesting sequences of events, end up taking a 2-1 lead over Cheyenne after 2.5 innings. In this inning, there were 2 runs, scored on 1 hit, with 1 error charged to the Cheyenne defense, and 2 men left on the corners. At the end of 2.5, it's a 2-1 Hardhats lead, and the Sixers will bring up 3, 4, and 5, starting off with RJ Prince in the bottom of the third. We'll be right back in just a few moments here on ESPN Rapid City and on Hardhats-TV. 2.5 innings are in the books, and the Hardhats now have a 2-1 lead over Cheyenne. Back-to-back games in which they have come from behind to eventually take the lead within the first couple of innings of play. Cody Brooks got out of that inning with 31 pitches thrown. He had 28 in the first two combined. He's at 59 on the game. Drew Messer is back on the mound. He has 39 pitches under his belt. He'll take on R.J. Prince, Max Pedroza, and Cody Brooks, the aforementioned pitcher, his counterpart in this game. Prince is 0 for 1. He has the only strikeout that has been awarded to Drew Messer. He was caught looking on a 1-2 pitch. 2-1 the Hardhats lead. They're looking to keep it that way through this bottom half of the third. And the first pitch is upstairs for ball 1. Prince, Pedroza, and Brooks is due up in the bottom of the third. And we have just started it. Full windup for Messer, and here comes the 1-0, and that's also upstairs. 2 balls, no strikes. R.J. Prince in the first game also batted in the third spot. He went 0 for 4. Two and 0. Swung on, and that ball's hit high in the air to center. Connor King drifts to his left, and I can't make the catch. It's over his head. And taking advantage of that and going to second is Prince. I don't know if that went off his glove or just Connor King misjudged it. I think he misjudged that. That's going to be a double, I believe. So a leadoff double for Prince. From this vantage point, it looks like it just went right over his head. So a leadoff double for Prince. Tying run is in scoring position, and that'll bring up Max Pedroza. And first pitch. Missed outside. Also high, 1-0. Pedroza walked in his first at-bat, but was stranded on first. Messer from the stretch takes a look at his runner on second twice. Here comes the 1-0. That misses low, and Schmidt comes up with a big block. 2 balls, no strikes to count to Pedroza. He steps back into the box, and Messer looks in for a sign. 2-1's the Hardhats lead. That's in jeopardy now as the leadoff man doubled for the Sixers. Time is called. That leadoff man was R.J. Prince moments ago, a double over the head of Connor King. And I think he just misjudged it because it looked like he was going to make a routine catch on the fly and just went over his glove by a hair. Didn't go off of his glove. So it wasn't an error. 2-0. Called strike, a fastball at the knees of Pedroza, and it's now 2-1. Cody Brooks, the starting pitcher's on deck. He's pitching right-handed. He's batting left. Messer still looking for the first out of this inning. 2-1 pitch. High and away, 3-1. Taking his lead off of second is R.J. Prince. He looks back to Prince, and Messer deals, and that's ball 4 to Max Pedroza. So another walk. First 2 men are on, first and second. No one out here in the bottom of the third. Cheyenne threatening, and now Coach Torvey, the head coach of the Hardhats, is going to come out to the mound. I don't know if there's going to be a substitution or not. And it looks like there will be. He has handed the ball to Coach Torvey. And the infield's coming in. So a nice conference on the mound right now. And the afternoon of Drew Messer has come to an end. And we have a new pitcher coming in for the Hardhats in just a few moments. So we're going to take a quick breather. When we come back, we should have everything you need to know about the pitcher coming up in just a few moments. We'll be right back here on ESPN Rapid City and live on the internet on Hardhats-TV. Well, we've identified the new pitcher out on the mound for the Hardhats. That is number 32, Jake Goebel. He is making his Hardhats debut and takes over for Drew Messer, who went 2+ innings and allowed a run that was earned on 3 hits. He struck out 1 in the contest, and he walked 4. Compared to his first outing this season, in which Messer struck out 6 and walked 2, obviously that's not where you'd like to see him at 1 strikeout to 4 walks in this game. Jake Goebel, a very young talent. As we mentioned in Game 1's broadcast, the MO of today for the Hardhats, as far as pitching is concerned, is young, promising pitching. Jake Goebel is a very young man, but my goodness, he is built like a brick house. He is huge. And that is a lot of the reason for his high velocity at such a young age. Coach Clapperich, who is the pitching coach of the Hardhats, they told me that so many of these young players they have coming through the system at 15, 16 years old, they're throwing mid to even high 80s. And so you got to wonder when they keep physically developing and when they keep developing in their mechanics of the game, that velocity is only going to skyrocket. So, Drew Messer, 2+ innings, 3 hits, a run allowed that was earned, 1 strikeout to 4 walks. And now Cody Brooks takes over in the batter's box, and the first pitch from Goebel swung on and missed. Fastball up high, it's 0-1. Next pitch is swung on and fouled. And quickly, Brooks is in an 0-2 hole. Brooks 0 for 1 in the ball game. He flew out to left field to end the bottom half of the first. By the way, Drew Messer, 47 pitches in his start of 2+ innings. No balls, 2 strikes to count. Goebel from the stretch deals. Swung on, and that ball is hit right to Cooper Bowman. He caught it. Throw to second is in time. It's a double play. A line-out 6-4 double play, and quickly the Hardhats have the lead runner out and 2 outs on the board. And now Matthew Semler, the catcher, comes up. A big sequence there. Caught off the bag was R.J. Prince. He thought it was going to burn Cooper Bowman. He made the catch, and Tyson Elliott a great cover at second. So an L6-4 double play. 2 outs, a man on first. And Goebel's first pitch to Matthew Semler is low for ball 1. Semler got an infield single and scored the only run that Cheyenne has in this game. That was back in the bottom of the second. He led off that bottom of the second with that hit and then came around. Here's his 1-0. Swung on, and that ball's line high in the air to left center, and it's going to drop for a base hit. Advancing to third from first is Max Pedroza. So it's men on the corners, a 2-out single for Semler. And that's going to bring up Jackson Hesford, the left fielder. So men on the corners here with 2 outs and a chance for Cheyenne to tie it. Jake Goebel takes a look at each corner of the diamond. They are occupied by base runners. And the first pitch. Called strike at the knees of Hesford. 0-1. If Hesford's retired, then Cheyenne is out of a scoring chance. That would bring up Alex Weaver to lead off the top of the fourth. 0-1 pitch. Swung on and fouled off. Third base side and out of play. And quickly, Jake Goebel on the mound is in the driver's seat. 0-2 the count to Hesford. No balls, 2 strikes the count to the Sixers left fielder. Men on the corners, 2 outs here in the bottom of the third. And the 0-2 is swung on, and it's hit to short. Bowman the stop, easy toss to second for the force, and that will do it. So the Hardhats avoid chaos. Messer started off the inning, ran into some trouble. Jake Goebel came in, and he shut it down to end the threat and maintain the Hardhats' lead. There were no runs scored on 2 hits, no errors charged to the Hardhats on defense, and men left on the corners. And at the end of 3 full innings of play, the Hardhats' lead is still intact at 2-1. I'll be right back with the top of the 4th inning and Alex Weaver to lead us off in just a few moments here on ESPN Rapid City and on Hardhats-TV.
Coke Zero goes with things like this. This. And this. Coke Zero tastes like this.
He shoots! He scores!
It sounds like this. It feels like this. So when the game is on, try it with this. Coke Zero. Real Coca-Cola taste. 0 calories, 0 sugar. Coke Zero goes.
Post 22 Hardhats baseball here on ESPN Rapid City is presented by Courtesy Subaru, Shields, Qdoba Mexican Eats, Renewal by Anderson, Sicky's Garage Burgers and Brews, Mustang Disaster Cleanup, and the Man Salon. We've played 3 innings here at Powers Field in Cheyenne, Wyoming, and the Hardhats have a 2-1 lead in Game 2 of their doubleheader over the Post-6 Sixers. Stats across the board. For the Hardhats, it's 2 runs on a hit with no errors on defense. And for the Sixers, it's 1 run on 4 hits with 1 error charged on defense. Cody Brooks is back on the mound. He is in his 4th inning of this start for the Sixers. He will take on Alex Weaver, Jack Sorensen, and Holden Jackson in that order. Weaver is 0 for 1 in this ball game. He grounded out right to Brooks at the mound. So we'll see how he starts off the top half of the 4th. First pitch, inside, 1-0. Don't forget, folks, that tomorrow morning at 11:30, both the Sixers and the Hardhats will conclude their 3-game set. Here's a 1-0. That's a called strike at the knees of Weaver, and it's a 1-1 count. 11:30 a.m. is our final game of the series tomorrow morning. Our pregame coverage will likely start around 11:15, 11:20. 1-1 to Weaver. Missed low and away. 2 balls and a strike to the Hardhats left fielder. Weaver's been involved twice on defense in this game. 2-1. Swung on, and that is popped up behind home plate. Semler is trying to track it in the sun, and he makes the catch. And Weaver is retired with a pop 2 in the scorebook. 1 up, 1 down for the Hardhats on offense, and that's going to bring us to the first baseman, Jack Sorensen. Sorensen responsible for the game-winning run in the top of the 8th of Game 1 of this doubleheader. We had to go extra innings. He's 0 for 1 in this game with a ground out to third. First pitch from Brooks, way outside. 1-0 the count to the right-handed hitting Hardhats first baseman. Mark Minetti alongside you in the broadcast booth here at Powers Field on ESPN Rapid City and on Hardhats-TV. Game 2 of our doubleheader today. Next pitch to Sorensen is inside, 2-0. You can catch us on ESPN Rapid City on 105.7 FM, 1340 AM back home in the Black Hills. And watch the game via our video stream directed by Seth Harwood, the gentleman sitting to my right, on Hardhats-TV. You know, we gave Destin, our old director, a lot of shameless plugs as the season went on, so I got to up my quota here for Seth and just pump his tires. 2-0 to Sorensen, swung on, and that is ripped into left center. That'll drop for a base hit. So Jack Sorensen gets his first hit of Game 2. It's a 1-out single here in the top of the 4th. There's a man on for the Hardhats. And that is going to bring us to Holden Jackson, the designated hitter. Jackson reached on an error in the bottom of the 3rd. Or top of the 3rd, excuse me. And he came around to score the first run. Sorensen checked down at first. Throw's not there. First run for the Hardhats, so he's 0 for 1 with the reach on the error. Brooks from the stretch. Another check to first, not there in time. He has a lightning quick motion. And he delivers, and Jackson fouls off his first pitch. He's behind 0-1. '68th pitch about to come out of the hand of Brooks. And he deals the 0-1. Swung on, and that ball is pushed right by the second baseman, Vitae, and into right for a base hit. Sorensen around second. He's going to third, and he's in. Jackson's going to go to second, but he was taken off the bag. And now Sorensen's going home, and the throw is in time. My goodness, what a sequence that was. Sorensen was safe at third. There was a mishap going to second for Jackson, and they threw them out. So that was an 8-5-4-2 double play, and it ends the inning. I think Coach Torvey is arguing blocking home plate, but I don't know if that is regulated at this level or not. But regardless, it ends the top half of the fourth, and what could have been a very prolific inning for the Hardhats ends in no runs on one hit with no errors charged to Cheyenne and no one left on the base path. We've played 3.5. Half the game is concluded. Hardhats still up 2-1 here on ESPN Rapid City and Hardhats-TV. Well, that was a crazy end of the top half of the fourth inning. The Hardhats had a chance if Jackson had settled for the single and Sorensen had stayed on third. The inning keeps going, 1 out, men on the corners. But instead, there was a mishap with Jackson wanting to take second. And I think, too, looking back on it, Jackson hesitated because they threw the ball into the infield and it went over the head of the shortstop into the third baseman where the play was with Sorensen at third. If Jackson didn't hesitate and he ran straight to second, he would have been all right. So now we go to the bottom half of the fourth. Jake Goebel back on in relief. He'll take on 8, 9, and 1 in the order. Starting off with Alec Clark, who is 1 for 1 with an infield single. And his first pitch misses the zone for ball 1. Goebel back to it quickly, and the 1-0 turns into a 1-1 on a called strike on the outside corner. Ball and a strike now to the right fielder of the Sixers. Clark, Nelson, Vitae due up. Here comes the 1-1. And that misses upstairs. 2-1 the count to Clark. Well, that was a very crazy sequence to end the top half of the fourth. So it's still a 2-1 Hardhats lead. 2-1 swung on and missed. And Clark now has the 2-2 count against Jake Goebel. Goebel making his Hardhats debut today at the varsity level. 2-2 pitch. Misses outside, and the count goes full. And the payoff pitch from Goebel. Just missed outside, ball 4. So it's a leadoff walk to Clark. The tying run is aboard, and Storm Nelson comes up. Storm Nelson popped out to second with the bases loaded and no one out in the bottom of the second. Messer got out of the jam for the most part. He did allow a run on a sac fly RBI. First pitch from Goebel. Swung on and fouled off. Nelson behind 0-1. Nelson in the first game struck out twice, and that's all he got. So he's 0 for 3 on the day in total. He has a man on first, the leadoff man, Alec Clark, with the payoff pitch walk. That is the first by Goebel in relief. They're showing bunt, and Nelson fouled it. Charging in from third to try and make the play was Matt Hegre. So unless he's feeling insanely lucky, Nelson is going to avoid the bunt. Will swing away. No balls, 2 strikes to count, a man on first, and no one out here in the bottom of the fourth. The Hardhats trying to maintain a 2-1 lead. Tying run is on. Nelson showing bunt with 2 strikes. And he pulled back. That was an interesting move. Hegre is now parallel with Goebel on the mound. And Nelson again with 2 strikes is showing bunt. And the pitch, he went at it, and that's strike 3. And that is the first strikeout for Jake Goebel in relief. And his first strikeout is a hard hat. Very surprised he didn't swing away, and he kept showing bunt. 2 strikes in particular. So, 1 down, 1 on. That'll bring us back to the top of the order to Nico Vite, who is 0 for 1 with a sac fly RBI. First pitch is swung on, hit high in the air. Right field. Sumption towards the foul line, now in foul territory, makes the catch, and quickly 2 gentlemen are retired. 2 down with a man on first here in the bottom of the fourth for the Sixers. That'll bring us to Ryan Andren. Andren in the ball game, 0 for 1. He walked and was stranded in scoring position back in the bottom of the first. Flew out to end bottom of the second with a man in scoring position. First pitch from Goebel is high at the letters, 1-0. RJ Prince on deck if Andren can keep the inning going. If not, Schmidt, Elliott, and Bowman are due up. 8, 9, and 1 for the Hardhats at the top of the fifth. 1-0. That's up high again. 2 balls, no strikes now to Andren. He is the Sixers shortstop. He has played shortstop both games. 2-0 the count now to Andren. Man on first and 2 outs, bottom of the fourth. Next pitch is swung on and missed. 2-1 now to Andren. Hardhats have a 2-1 lead, looking to keep it that way. And transition to the top of the fifth. Goebel from the stretch, 2-1. Misses outside and high, 3-1. Goebel's only issued 1 walk in relief. He is 1 pitch away from issuing a second. Three balls and a strike to count to the Sixers shortstop, Ryan Andren. And the pitch from Goebel catches the inside part of the plate on a fastball, and now the count goes full. 3-2. Goebel from the stretch to try and end the inning. Payoff pitch to Andren is swung on, and it's hit by Sorensen and into right for a base hit. Coming in is Sumption to field. He throws it to Bowman. It skips off of him, but he hangs on to it. And advancing 2 bases from first is Alec Clark. So Clark is on third. Andren gets the 2-out single to keep the inning going. It'll be men on the corners now for RJ Prince, the Sixers third baseman, and a chance to tie it with a gentleman 90 feet to his left. So Goebel still has some work to do to get out of this unscathed. First pitch. Missed low and away, ball 1. Prince on the ball game is 1 for 2. He doubled the last time he was up. But was in the middle of an L6-4 double play, so he was pulled off the base path. Also struck out looking. 1-0. Inside, 2 balls, no strikes. Max Pedroza, the cleanup hitter, is on deck should Prince reach safely. Either give us bases loaded or a tie ball game. 2-0 from Goebel. This is low and away. 3 balls, no strikes. And now Prince is in the driver's seat in the batter's box. He's probably going to keep that bat on his shoulder. Plenty of pitches to work with here. Three balls, no strikes from Goebel to Prince. And the pitch is in there, ball 4. And so it's a 2-out walk issue. And now the bases are loaded. And that brings up the cleanup hitter, Max Pedroza. Pitching coach Ryan Clapperidge comes out. He's going to have a word with his young righty and his catcher, Ryan Schmidt. Looked like it was going to be pretty promising there for a minute. Clark had walked, but then Nelson had struck out. Vite had flown out to right. So you had 2 quick outs with just a man on first, and all of a sudden you gave up a single and a 2-out walk on 4 pitches nonetheless. So now all of a sudden you have bases loaded and 2 outs. So this inning could have been over a while back. Full windup. First pitch to Pedroza's upstairs for ball 1. Pedroza in the ball game has walked twice. The trifecta would tie this game up if he earns one here. Next pitch, inside fastball, catches the part of the corner. And it's 1-1. If Goebel gets out of this unscathed, Schmidt, Elliott, and then at the top of the order, Bowman are due up in the top of the 5th. Next pitch, misses low and away. 2-1. Prince on first, Andren on second, Clark on third. 2-1 pitch. Swung on, and that ball's hit high in the air to center. Underneath it is King, and King makes the catch, and that's going to end it. So a huge out there with Connor King in center field, and that ends the jam and strands the bases loaded for the Sixers. For the Sixers in this inning, there were no runs on 1 hit, no errors charged to the Hardhats, bases left loaded. We've played 4, and it's still a 2-1 post-22 lead. We're going to take a quick breather. We'll be right back with the top of the 5th and Ryan Schmidt, the Hardhats catcher, to lead us off. You're on the official radio home of Post-22 Hardhats Baseball on ESPN Rapid City and our live stream on the internet on Hardhats-TV. For those Rush fans that are currently tuning in back home in Rapid City, or wherever you may be, if you have no plans tomorrow at 5:30, you need to head down to Patty O'Neill's in Rapid City at the Hotel Alex Johnson, where the Rush are going to host their 2nd Stanley Cup watch party of this offseason. The watch party is for Game 6 between the Vegas Golden Knights and the San Jose Sharks in their 2nd round playoff series. Vegas leads the series 3-2, and if they win, then for the first time ever, in their first year ever, they're going to the Western Conference Final to take on the winner of the Winnipeg Jets and Nashville Predators. Ryan Schmidt's going to lead off the Hardhats here in the top of the 5th. It's a 2-1 Hardhats lead. 2 runs on 2 hits with no errors. And for Cheyenne, a run on 5 hits with an error defensively. First pitch to Schmidt's a called strike inside. 0-1 the count. Schmidt, the Hardhats catcher, is 0 for 1 with a fly out to left field. Cody Brooks still on the mound for Cheyenne, and his next pitch rides too far inside, and the count evens up at 1-1. That, by the way, was Brooks' 70th pitch of this start. Here comes the 1-1 to Schmidt. That's too far inside again, 2-1. Schmidt in the first game went 2 for 4 with a hit by pitch, a pair of singles, and RBI. A good day for him so far. 2-1, swung on, hit right up the middle. Comes to Andren at short. His throw to first is in time. 6-3 in the book retires Schmidt. 1 up, 1 down, and that will bring us to Tyson Elliott, the second baseman. Unfortunate base running error for him on third. And just leisurely walked off the bag with bases loaded, and that was that. Play wasn't officially called dead yet. Elliott walked to get on the base path, and his first pitch is low and inside for ball 1. Full windup for Brooks. Here comes the 1-0. That's too far inside. Buzzes the tower. It's 2-0. Elliott has 1 out. No one on the base path here in the top of the 5th. Hardhats are holding on to a 2-1 lead over the Sixers. And the 2-0. That's a called strike right at his belt, and now it's 2-1. Tyson Elliott making his Hardhats debut today. He's playing at second base. Took over for Carter Deming and played in game 1. 2-1. Buzzed the tower again. 3-1 now the count. And Elliott, a pitch away from his second free pass of the afternoon. Full windup for Brooks. 3-1 pitch. Swung on and missed. Rather foul tipped into the glove, I should say. Very hard to hear the bat. We don't have a crowd mic with us yet. Payoff pitch coming from Brooks to Elliott. And that's high and inside for ball 4. So Elliott, twice in this game, has drawn a walk with a full count. Both times with 1 out as well. So now, it's a man on first with 1 out, and back to the top of the order we go to Cooper Bowman. Bowman's 0 for 1 in this ballgame. Fly out to center, a walk, and he came around to score the go-ahead run that the Hardhats currently have. Their second of 2. His first pitch is low and inside, and the Hardhats shortstop starts off with a 1-0 count. Brooks about to throw his 80th pitch. And a quick check to first, not there in time. One ball, no strikes to count. Brooks from the stretch, deals. And that's outside, 2-0. Connor King, the center fielder, is on deck if Bowman doesn't ground into a double play of some sort. And here comes the 2-0 to Bowman. Swung on. That ball is hit high in the air. Foul territory, first base side, and it looks like it sails over the fence. And now the count is at 2-1 for Bowman. This is his first game this season batting in the leadoff position. He had some fun conversation about that earlier with pitching coach Ryan Clappridge. Two balls and a strike to count to Bowman. Man on first with 1 out here in the top of the 5th. Hardhats with a 2-1 lead. 2-1 is low. Blocked, though, by Semler, the catcher. So hanging tight at first was Elliott. 3 balls and a strike now the count to Bowman. Brooks quickly to the stretch. Deals the 3-1. Swung on, and that ball's ripped to third, and it's off the glove of R.J. Prince. And everybody's safe. So Bowman on first. Elliott advances to second. That was a hot shot to third. And he just had some trouble settling it there in the hot corner. Prince did. So now men on first and second with 1 out. And that will bring us to Connor King. They're ruling that an infield hit. King shows bunt, but he pulled back. Ball 1. King has struck out and grounded into an RBI fielder's choice in which he was safe on the base path. Knocked in a run with the bases loaded. 1-0 to the left-handed hitting King. Comes from Brooks. And that's inside. Caught the inside corner for a strike. Ball and a strike now the count against King. So Bowman gets the infield single there. Just a hot shot to third, and Prince tried to settle it and scooped right out of his glove. 1-1. Swung on and missed. High fastball from King, and it's a ball and 2 strikes. Men on first and second, 1 out here in the top of the 5th. King trying to keep the train rolling. Hardhats with a 2-1 lead. Brooks a look at second. 2-1 to King is swung on and missed. Strike 3. So that is strikeout number 2 for Cody Brooks. 2 down. Men on first and second still. And that'll bring up Matt Hegre, who had an RBI single back in the top of the 3rd. He is 1 for 2 in this ballgame. First pitch is swung on, and it's drilled foul. Third base side, and Hegre starts behind 0-1. Two runs on 3 hits for the Hardhats in this game. Hegre has one of those 3 hits. Men on first and second, 2 outs. 2-1 Hardhats lead. Here comes his 0-1. That's high and inside. Ball and a strike. If Hegre keeps the inning going, Zach Sumption's on deck. He's 0 for 2. 2 games in a row he's batting in the cleanup spot. If not, 5, 6, and 7 are due up, starting off with the pitcher, Cody Brooks. Next pitch to Hegre, swung on and missed. Ball and 2 strikes now, his count. 2 outs here in the top of the 5th. The Hardhats up by 1. Brooks a double take to second. 1-2. Swung on and missed. Strike 3, and that'll do it. Back-to-back strikeouts for Cody Brooks ends the top half of the 5th inning and strands a runner in scoring position for the Hardhats. There were no runs on a hit with no errors charged to Cheyenne on defense. 2 runners left on base, 1 of them in scoring position. We played 4.5 innings, and the Hardhats still have a 2-1 lead over the Cheyenne Post 6 Sixers. Jake Goebel returns to the mound along with his defense. We'll be right back with the bottom half of the 5th here on ESPN Rapid City and on Hardhats-TV. Post 22 Hardhats baseball here on ESPN Rapid City is presented by Courtesy Subaru, Shields, Qdoba Mexican Eats, Renewal by Anderson, Sicky's Garage Burgers and Brews, Mustang Disaster Cleanup, and the Man Salon. We have played 4.5 innings, and the Hardhats still have a 2-1 lead to protect. Jake Goebel is back on the mound for what would be his 3rd inning of relief. He took over for Drew Messer, who started the first 2+ innings. Didn't record an out at the start of the 3rd inning. That was all Jake Goebel's work. 33 pitches of work for the young righty so far. And he will take on 5, 6, and 7 in the Cheyenne order. Starting off with the starting pitcher, Cody Brooks. Throws right-handed, bats left-handed. Brooks is 0 for 2. Flew out to left, and he lined into a 6-4 double play back in the 3rd. First pitch from Goebel is upstairs, 1-0. Brooks, Semler, Hesford due up in this inning for the Sixers. They trail the Hardhats 2-1. No one on. We just started the bottom of the 5th. Next pitch is swung on, and that is flared foul. Third base side, and the count evens up at a ball and a strike. Brooks at 91 pitches in his start. 1-1. That missed blowing away. 2 balls and a strike. So I'd be interested to see if they keep him in the lineup, but maybe switch him out and get another pitcher in. Next pitch is low. 3 balls and a strike. And 3-1 from Goebel. Swung on, and that is fouled off again. And the count goes full. Jake Goebel making his Hardhats debut on the mound. First game of the season, only 3 in. 3 balls and 2 strikes to count. And Brooks steps out of the box. He's going to take some time to think about it. And that was a quick thought process. He's back in the box. Goebel coming from the stretch. Payoff pitch. High and away, ball 4. So Brooks draws a leadoff walk. He's on first as the tying run. And now, Matthew Semler comes up, the catcher. 2 for 2, an infield single, another single, and a run scored. He is the only run Cheyenne has scored in this game. Brooks takes his lead off at first. Goebel a quick peek over. Check down, and it was nearly off track. Sorensen snared that one, though. So we've yet to see a pitch thrown to Matthew Semler. And here comes the first one. Swung on and missed. No balls and a strike to count here to Semler. And Schmidt was ready just in case Brooks tried to take off. Brooks has a pretty big lead over there at first. No balls and a strike to count. And the pitch is low and away. Ball and a strike to the Sixers catcher. 2-1 the Hardhats lead. No outs here in the bottom of the 5th. The leadoff man on by virtue of a walk. Matthew Semler trying to knock him across the base path. 1-1 pitch is over his head. 2-1. Semler looking for 3 hits in a row. In the first game, he played in right field. Went 1 for 2 with a triple, a strikeout, and a pair of walks. He has a pair of singles, one of them the infield variety, and a run scored. 2-1 his count, and the check to first isn't there. Nice scoop by Sorensen, though. Jake Goebel about to throw his 43rd pitch. And the 2-1 swung on, and it's hit to second. Elliott, the stop, couldn't get the clean scoop, though, so he'll get the easy out at first. So Brooks advances to second. That will be a 4-3 fielder's choice that retires Semler. 1 down, and that'll bring us with a man at scoring position to Jackson Hefsford, the left-handed hitting left fielder. Schmidt comes to the mound to talk to Goebel for a bit. And it looks like everybody's ready to go. So now leading off of second is Cody Brooks. Advanced on the fielder's choice. Hefsford in the ball game, 0 for 1 with a walk. First pitch. Swung on, and that ball is ripped into right field. It's going to drop for a base hit. Sumption comes into field at rounding third. Coming home is Brooks, and the throw won't get there. A 1-out RBI single for Jackson Hefsford, and we are all square at 2 aside with 1 out and 1 on here in the bottom of the 5th. Just a good piece of hitting there from Hefsford. Caught everything on that ball and let her fly. So now Alec Clark steps into the batter's box, right-handed hitting right fielder. 1 for 1 with an infield single and a walk. And a chance to give Cheyenne the lead. First pitch, swung on, and that's flared high in the air to right. Assumption is underneath it, and he makes the catch. So a big second out recorded there by the Hardhats. Man on first. That brings up Storm Nelson, the center fielder. Storm Nelson is 0 for 4 on the entire day. Struck out twice in game 1. 0 for 2 in this game. Struck out only once. And the first pitch from Goebel is a called strike on the inside part of the plate. The ball skipped away from Schmidt, the catcher. But not taking advantage of second in the sequence was Hefsford. So Hefsford stays put at first. RBI single and everything there. No balls and a strike to count here to Storm Nelson. And the next pitch is fouled off. And quickly, it's 0-2. No balls and 2 strikes the count. Goebel looking to get out of the inning with a big K. And the 0-2. Swung on, and that ball is torched to left field. Alex Weaver is turning all the way back to the warning track, and he dropped the ball. Coming around from third to score is Clark. A 2-out RBI double for Storm Nelson, who really caught a hold of that one. And now the Sixers' lead is 3-2 with 2 outs and another man in scoring position here in the bottom of the 5th. Scoring all the way from first was Hesford. And Storm Nelson knocks him in. Back to the top of the order we go to Nico Vite. Vite 0 for 2 with a sac fly RBI, and his first pitch is swung on, hit high in the air to the left side of the outfield. Bowman tracks all the way back from short, makes the catch, and that will do it. But the damage has been done by Cheyenne. Post 6, 2 runs on 2 hits with no errors charged to the Hardhats, and 1 man left in scoring position. We have played 5, and the Sixers now have a 3-2 lead over the Hardhats for the first time since the bottom of the 2nd inning. So we'll take a quick breather, transition to the top of the 6th, the new pitcher on the mound, and more coming up here on ESPN Rapid City and on Hardhats-TV. We have played some musical chairs in the infield for the Sixers. The start of Cody Brooks has come to an end after a whopping 91 pitches over 5 innings. He will now give way to R.J. Prince, who comes in for him on the mound. Max Pedroza has shifted all the way over to third. And at first is Brooks. So the lineup remains unchanged for post 6. It's just nice little shuffling, nice little game of musical chairs. So R.J. Prince, the righty, warming up. He's shown some good off-speed already, some breaking pitches. He is going to take on the heart of the Hardhats order, starting off with Zach Sumption, followed by Alex Weaver and Jack Sorensen. 5 innings in the books. Cheyenne now has the 3-2 lead over the Hardhats. Numbers across the board through 5 for the Hardhats. It's 2 runs on 3 hits with no errors on defense. And for the Sixers, it's 3 runs on 6 hits with 1 blemish in the field. Mark Benetti alongside you in the broadcast booth from Powers Field here in Cheyenne, Wyoming, here on the official radio home of Post 22 Hardhats Baseball. ESPN Rapid City, 105.7 FM, 1340 AM. We're also streamed live on the internet on Hardhats-TV. Game 2 of this doubleheader, game 2 of 3 games to be played this weekend between the Sixers and the Hardhats. Zach Sumption leads us off. First pitch from Prince is high and away, ball 1. Sumption's 0 for 2 in the ball game, a ground out right to the mound, and then a fly out to his position in right. Prince coming from the stretch, and the 1-0. Swung on, and that ball's hit high in the air to the left side of the infield. Andrin comes in from short, and he makes the catch. 1 up, 1 down for the Hardhats on offense, just 2 pitches. And that brings up Alex Weaver. So Cody Brooks, what a quality start he had. 5 innings in which he allowed 2 runs, 1 of which was earned, on 3 hits, 3 strikeouts to 3 walks, 91 pitches. First pitch to Weaver. Catches the outside corner of the plate. 0-1 the count. It's a beautiful breaking pitch from Prince. Weaver 0 for 2 as well in the ballgame. Meat of the order only has one hit, and that was Jack Sorensen. Next pitch is swung on, and that ball is ripped into left field. That's going to drop for a base hit, and it's going to go pretty much to the corner. Weaver rounds first, and he is into second, and he gets a double with one out. So now make it 2 hits for the meat of the order for post 22. A one-out double for Weaver. He is now in scoring position, and that will bring us to Jack Sorensen. Big moment for the Hardhats with the tying run 180 feet from home. They trail 3-2 here in the top of the 6th. First pitch from Prince, swung on and missed. 0-1 the count to Sorensen, who is 1 for 2 in the ballgame. Grounded out to third in his first at-bat in the second, and then singled in the fourth. And was part of that 9-5-6-2 double play. Just, your normal routine double play. Nothing big. Double take to second. Prince deals the 0-1. Swung on and missed. Breaking ball that left the zone. Low and away, 0-2. No balls, 2 strikes the count to Jack Sorensen. And Prince deals the 0-2. And that misses low and away. Sorensen doesn't bite. Ball and 2 strikes to count now for the Hardhats first baseman. He's to be followed by Holden Jackson, the designated hitter. Jackson was responsible for hitting into that 9-5-6-2. Ball and 2 strikes to Sorensen. Prince a check to second. And he deals. And that breaking pitch doesn't break down. It's 2-2. Two balls, 2 strikes to count. Prince looking for his first strikeout in relief. And he deals the 2-2. Swung on, and it's fought off foul by Sorensen. And the count holds even at 2-2. Prince came in relief of Cody Brooks, pitched 91 pitches, 5 innings, allowed 2 runs, 1 of them was earned. Prince will look at second again at Weaver. He's the tying run. And now time's called. So Sorensen steps out of the box and takes some time to think. Weaver doubled with 1 out to get on the base path. Second batter of this inning for post 22. Sorensen trying to knock him home. 2-2. Swung on, and that ball is hit high in the air to left, and it's going to drop for a base hit. Weaver's going to stay at third, and Sorensen is on with his second hit of the ball game, a 1-out single. So Weaver advances 90 feet. He is now 90 feet from home. 1 out, men on the corners, and that brings up Holden Jackson. Jackson 0 for 2 on the ball game. Reached on an error, and then he hit into the 9-5-6-2. Double play. Looked like he was going to reach safely. If he just stuck on first, he would have had a single, but the ball went into right field. He hit it into right for the base hit. But instead of staying at first, he tried to make a stretch to second. He hesitated on the way because the ball was thrown to third base for the play that involved Jack Sorensen. And so in his indecision, he slowed himself down. Ball went to second. He was tagged out. Sorensen decided he wanted to try and take home in the confusion. They gunned it home, and he was out by about a country mile. So right field to third base to shortstop to catcher. 9-5-6-2 double play, and it ended the inning. So Jackson looking for his first hit. It would tie the game up if he got it. Any good contact out of the infield, and this game's pretty much tied. First pitch from Prince is a well-placed breaking ball. It falls in there for a strike. 0-1 the count. 3-2 is the Cheyenne lead. There are men on the corners here for Jackson, and 1 out in the top of the 6th. And the 0-1 misses outside. Ball and a strike now the count to Jackson. This is Jackson's first game of the season in which he is taking at-bats. He pitched and started off the season on Wednesday night. 1-1. Breaking pitch Catches the inside part of the plate. Strike 2 called. 1-2 now to Jackson. Sorensen on first, Weaver on third. Ball and 2 strikes the count from Prince to Jackson, and he deals. Swung on, and it's fought off foul. And Jackson stays alive. Still a 1-2 count. We are in the top of the 6th inning, game 2 of this doubleheader. These are some long games we've had. This game started at 2:20. It's 4:05. Next pitch, fouled off again, and Jackson stays alive at 1-2. The first game was 2 hours and 45 minutes. We're at 1 hour and 45 minutes right now. Here comes the 1-2 again. Swung on and once again fouled off. Credit Jackson. He's staying alive here. It's a big battle. Ball and 2 strikes. That's at least 3 pitches he's fouled off. R.J. Prince in relief of Brooks. Battling Jackson right now. Here comes the 1-2. Swung on, and that ball is pushed high in the air to right. That's going to drop for a base hit. Weaver comes in to score from third. Sorensen is on his way to third, and he is safe. Jackson doesn't make the same mistake as he did the last time. A 1-out RBI single for the Hardhats DH, and this game is all square at 3 aside. Holden Jackson just threw his hands at the ball, and he pushed it opposite field, and it just dipped right into right. Weaver made the smart decision, waited to tag on third before he came home, but he was able to trot home safely, and now we're square at 3. And the next pitch is thrown to Ryan Schmidt, and he grounds right out to the pitcher, Prince. So advancing to second in that sequence was Holden Jackson. That is a 1-3 fielder's choice. 2 down with 2 men in scoring position, and that'll bring us to Tyson Elliott. For some reason, we have 2 15s issued on this team, and Tyson Elliott is the second gentleman on top of Zach Sumption wearing 1-5. 2 outs, 2 men in scoring position, and the first pitch to Elliott misses low, and it's blocked by Semler. 1-0 the count to Elliott. He has walked twice. Twice he has been in the batter's box. 1-0 the count from Prince. And he deals. Outside, 2-0. Elliott looking for his first hit as a hard hat. If he gets it, his team will have the lead. Right now we're tied at 3. He has men on second and third. Jack Sorensen, the most immediate threat on the base path. He's 90 feet from scoring. Top of the 6th. We're square at 3. 2-0 is fouled. 2 balls and a strike now the count. And that was fouled off the catcher's foot, so Semler's walking that one off. Two balls and a strike the count here for Tyson Elliott. If he is retired, 2, 3, and 4 are due up for the Sixers in the bottom half of the 6th. Ryan Andrin will lead off, followed by R.J. Prince, now the pitcher, and Max Pedroza, the now third baseman. Prince has thrown 21 pitches in relief in this inning, and he's 1 out away from getting out of it. 2 balls and a strike the count to Tyson Elliott, Hardhats second baseman. 2 men in scoring position. We're tied at 3 here in the top of the 6th. 2-1. That catches the inside part of the plate for strike 2 on the fastball. Count evens up 2-2. Prince will come from the stretch. 2-2 pitch. Swung on and missed, strike 3, and that'll do it. So the Hardhats threatened, but they couldn't knock in the other 2. And so R.J. Prince's first strikeout in relief ends a huge threatening situation. The Hardhats did get 1 run on 3 hits. No errors charged to the Sixers. 2 men left, both on second and third. And at the end of 5.5 innings, we are now tied at 3 runs aside. We'll take a quick breather and come back with the bottom of the 6th inning, and Ryan Andrin will lead us off here on the official radio home of Post 22 Hardhats Baseball on ESPN Rapid City. Also streamed live on the internet at post22baseball.com and Hardhats-TV. Well, now the Hardhats have played a little musical chairs of their own. Jake Goebel's stint in relief ended after 49 pitches and after 3 innings of work, in which he allowed 2 runs on 49 pitches. Jack Sorensen has moved from first base to pitcher. Jake Goebel, however, remains in the game. He's going to play at first, so that eliminates Holden Jackson as the designated hitter. So Goebel will bat in the 7th spot for the Hardhats. Jack Sorensen's first pitch in relief is to Ryan Andren, the shortstop, and it misses for ball 1. Andren, Prince, and Pedroza due up for the Sixers in the bottom of the 6th, tied at 3. And the next pitch from Sorensen misses low again. It's 2-0. Jack Sorensen pitched a tad bit last year. 13 games in which he pitched, he had a 3-1 record and 1 save, 22 2/3 innings of work under his belt, and a 5.87 ERA. Next pitch misses low and inside, and it's quickly 3-0 to Andren, leading off the bottom half of the 6th. Sorensen has to avoid putting the go-ahead run on the base path on this next pitch. And the 3-0 misses low and away, ball 4. So a 4-pitch walk to lead off the bottom half of the 6th. The go-ahead run is on, and that'll bring up R.J. Prince, the third baseman turned relief pitcher. R.J. Prince in the ball game is 1 for 2, a double, a strikeout, a walk. First pitch, called strike. Inside, and it's 0-1. No balls and a strike to count, and the pitch is a breaking pitch outside, 1-1. Sorensen looks in for the sign, a quick peek to first. 1-1. Runner goes, and it's fouled. Ball and 2 strikes to count here to Prince. Ryan Andren, a 4-pitch walk to lead off this bottom half of the 6th, put him on the base path. And he just took a stab at taking second, but the ball was fouled. 1-2. Breaking pitch, doesn't break down. 2-2. Two balls, 2 strikes to count. And Sorensen deals. Swung on, and it's ripped foul again, first base side. And the count will hold even at 2-2. R.J. Prince in the right-handed batter's box against the right-handed throwing Sorensen. Again, 1 for 2, a double, a strikeout, and a walk. Sorensen, a quick glance to first. Deals his 2-2 to Prince. And that misses low. Schmidt gets the block, and it's a full count. Sorensen needs an out here either at the plate or induce the double play. He really needs something to help him out here, though. Go-ahead runs on. You don't want to advance him to scoring position with a walk or fielder's choice. Payoff pitch, swung on, and it's hit to short. Bowman the stop, to second for 1, to first for 2, and it's off track. And it pulled Goebel off the bag. So the key point there is that the lead runner is out at second. That'll be a 6-4 fielder's choice. That sends R.J. Prince to first. So the go-ahead run's still on. But the lead runner is out. So it's still not a runner in scoring position. 1 down, 1 on. And that brings up Max Pedroza, the first baseman now turned third baseman. Pedroza in the ballgame's 0 for 1. He had a pair of walks and then flew out to center with the bases loaded to end the bottom half of the 4th. He gets some words of wisdom from his coaching staff, and he's ready to rock. Sorensen, a quick look to first. And the pitch. Swung on, fouled off, first base side. And over the fence, 0-1. Double play ends the inning. So if you're Sorensen, that's what you're hoping for. If you're the Hardhats defense, that's what you're hoping for. Sorensen will look to first, and the 0-1. Breaking ball called strike. Beautifully placed by Sorensen. 0-2 now the count. To Max Pedroza, the Sixers third baseman. No balls, 2 strikes, 1 out bottom of the 6th, a tie ball game. And Sorensen's 0-2. Check swung, he didn't go. And the count will go to a ball and 2 strikes. Oh, wait, are they saying he went? They're saying he went. Wow, I didn't think he went from back here. But they are calling that he went, and the coaching staff is livid. And I got to say, I think I agree with the Cheyenne coaching staff. I don't think he went around. And I'm from behind the plate, so I have a god-awful view of it. But that is a tough break for the Sixers. So that's 2 outs with a man on first. And now the coaching staff's coming out to argue with our infield umpire. And again, I think he's got a point. I mean, that's a huge call to make in a tie ball game when your go-ahead runner's on the base path. And how you can make that call from that vantage point. That's, I think the Hardhats just caught a humongous break there. And is the coach ejected? He just ejected the coach. Oh, wow. And he's voicing his displeasure. He has thrown his hard hat. And he's leaving the ballpark. Wow. So some shuffling of base coaches now for the Sixers. That is a rough go. And I got to side with him. I don't know how you can make that call from that vantage point and from there, but that's not good. So now 2 outs. A man on first. Cody Brooks, the first baseman, comes up. Sorensen now 1 out away from stranding the go-ahead run on the base path. And the pitch is a called strike, outside corner, at the knees of Brooks, 0-1 the count. Brooks is 0 for 2, lined into a double play, flew out to left, and he walked, came around to score in the bottom of the 5th. 0-1 pitch, swung on, and it's fouled off. And quickly he is in an 0-2 hole. Hardhats just caught a huge break. Pedroza called going around the plate when I didn't really think he did. He struck out. 0-2 pitch is outside. 1-2. The go-ahead run is on first. That's R.J. Prince. He gained entry on the base path through a fielder's choice. He was safe. Ball and 2 strikes from Sorensen to Brooks, and he deals to the lefty, and this ball is pitched and it hits to short. Bowman gets the stop, the easy toss to second, and that will do it to end the inning. So the Hardhats got away with one there, I think. And we're still tied at 3. No runs, no hits, no errors charged to the Hardhats. And 1 man left on base. And at the end of 6 innings of play, in a tie ball game, the Hardhats trying to come out with a win. And it looks like we have another pitching change for Cheyenne post 6. Ryan Andron's come in from short to take over on the mound. He will take over for R.J. Prince. Max Pedroza is still at third. And coming in to play shortstop is Dawson McCleary. So, Andron now pitching. And he takes over for Prince, who only went the 1 inning and allowed the 1 run on 2 hits. Numbers across the board for the Hardhats, deadlocked at 3. It's 3 runs, 5 hits, no errors. And for the Sixers, it's 3 runs on 6 hits with 1 error on defense. So McCleary now at short. Bowman 1 for 2. He walked, came around to score in the 3rd, and he singled his last time up in the 5th. Called strike, and it's 1-1. It's off his knee. And the go-ahead run is on first. We'll have to wait for a ruling. And they're going to rule that an E5. So Bowman reaches on the error. And left-handed hitting center fielder Connor King is now up. Pitch from Andren. He shows bunt. He drops it right to the mound. Andren goes to second for the lead runner, and he got him. Connor King couldn't execute properly on the bunt. The ball game, so his first hit, if it comes right now, it comes at a very crucial moment for post 22. Ryan Andren, the third pitcher used in this game for Cheyenne in relief. And the first pitch is low and away. King takes second. He was in motion on the pitch. The pitch was low and away, and while Sembler got the stop, King advances to scoring position. So that is a stolen base to King. 1-0 the count here to Zach Sumption with a man 180 feet away from giving the Hardhats the lead. Andren steps back onto the rubber. Sumption looking for his 1-0 pitch. Andren will look to King at second, and he deals. Swung on, and the ball's fouled. First base side, and it's out of play. And the count evens up. Ball and a strike. Zach Sumption grounded out to the pitcher, flew out to right, and popped out to the shortstop. He only made really good contact on the ball once. Base hit would give his team the lead. 1-1, fouled off. Ball and 2 strikes. It's a 3-3 ball game, top of the 7th with 2 outs. Connor King's 180 feet away from breaking the deadlock. But Zach Sumption has to be the one to drive him in right now. And he's 0 for 3 looking for his first hit. Andren is set. A double take to second. And he deals the 1-2. Swung on, and that ball is pushed high in the air to right. And underneath. No, it's off the glove of Alec Clark. It rolls away from him, and King's going to come around to score. And the Hardhats take advantage of another error. And it's a 4-3 ball game with a man on second and 2 outs in the top of the 7th. Oh, my goodness. And now Alex Weaver comes up on the E9. And keeps this inning going. And the first pitch is swung on, and it's 4-3 scorebook to end the threat. But my goodness, another error has cost Cheyenne, and the Hardhats now have a 4th lead. Coming into the bottom of the 7th, 3 outs away from taking the doubleheader. It's a run with no hits, 2 errors charged to Cheyenne, and 1 man left on the base path in scoring position. We have played 6.5. The Hardhats 3 outs from the win. They have a 4-3 lead. We go for the bottom of the 7th. This one down here on Jack Sorensen and the post 22 Hardhats are 3 outs away from taking the doubleheader. The beneficiaries of 2 errors in the top of the 7th to take a 4-3 lead over the Sixers. Jack Sorensen's first pitch is dealt to Matthew Sembler, the catcher, and it's fouled, so he starts behind 0-1. Sembler's had a great day today, though. He's 2 for 3 in this second game. And he came around to score the first of 3 Sixers runs. Next pitch is swung on and missed, and he's behind 0-2 to Jack Sorensen. The third pitch for the Hardhats. No balls, 2 strikes the count. And the 2-0. Swung on, and that ball's hit high in the air to right. Sumption's backtracking, going towards the warning track, and he makes the catch. F9 in the book, 2 up, 2 down for the Hardhats. 1 out away from taking the doubleheader, and that is going to bring up Alec Clark, the right fielder. Clark's 1 for 2. He had an infield single back in the second, walked, and then flew out to right in his most recent at-bat. Hardhats looking to finish their first game this season in regulation. Sorensen's first pitch hit high in the air. Foul territory. Here comes Schmidt from behind home plate. Laying out, and he couldn't snag it. Schmidt nearly 2 inches away from ending this game. And instead, Alec Clark gets another chance. No balls and a strike is count. Jack Sorensen will go from the stretch. 0-1 to Clark. Breaking ball called strike. Eloquently placed by Sorensen. No balls, 2 strikes to count. From ending it. 0-2. Just missed. And the count goes to a ball and 2 strikes. Sorensen thought he had a backwards K and a 3-0 record. He's got to wait 1 more pitch. 1-2. Swung on and missed, strike 3, and that's going to end it. And the Hardhats take the doubleheader. 4-3, the final score in Game 2. And the first time this season that the Hardhats have finished a game in regulation. They finished this inning 1-2-3. No runs, hits, errors, or anybody left on base. 7 innings of regulation in the books. And the Hardhats win 4-3 at the end of Game 2. We'll take a quick breather, folks. We'll tabulate some stats for you. And when we come back, we'll give you a walkthrough on just exactly how this day came to be. And how the Hardhats started off with a 3-0 record on the season. We'll be right back in a few moments here on ESPN Rapid City and on Hardhats-TV. Post 22 Hardhats Baseball here on ESPN Rapid City is presented by Courtesy Subaru, Shields, Qdoba Mexican Eats, Renewal by Anderson, Sicky's Garage Burgers and Brews, the Mustang Disaster Cleanup, and the Man Salon. No disasters to clean up here today, though, for the Hardhats as they swept the doubleheader over the Cheyenne Post 6 Sixers. Final score of Game 2 that just finished 4-3. Thank you so much for joining us for all of our coverage today of Post 22 Hard Hats Baseball. Mark Benetti alongside you in the broadcast booth here at Powers Field in Cheyenne, Wyoming. The Hard Hats taking on the Sixers in a 3-game series this weekend, finishing up their doubleheader with 2 wins in 2 games. We recapped the first game earlier. At the end of the first game and just prior to the start of Game 2 of this doubleheader, the Hard Hats, once again, thanks to a couple of miscues, especially in the latter innings, were able to take a 7-6 victory over the Sixers in Game 1. The final stat line across the board was the Hard Hats 7 runs on 9 hits with 1 error defensively, and for the Sixers, it was 6 runs on 7 hits with a whopping 4 errors in the field, 3 of them charged to the first base position. Now you come to Game 2, and the Hard Hats take this win 4 runs on 5 hits with no errors, and for the Sixers, it was 3 runs on 6 hits, and again, a trio of errors, 2 of which came back in the final inning of regulation, and it allowed the Hard Hats to eventually get that winning run across. The E9 that was charged to Alec Clark in right field, and Zach Sumption's at bat with 2 outs, allowed his man to advance from second to home. Connor King stole second to get himself in scoring position, and all Clark needs to do is catch that ball, and the ball game's over. Instead, it knocks in Connor King. So for a second game in a row, and really a third in a row to start off this season, the Hard Hats started off down. Cheyenne took a 1-0 lead in the bottom half of the second when Matthew Semler, the catcher, led off with an infield single to third, and then he was knocked in on a sac fly RBI by Nico Vite to make it 1-0. The Hard Hats immediately fired back, though, in the top of the third, took advantage of a hit and an error, and scored twice. Holden Jackson reached on an error and came around to score. Cooper Bowman walked and then was knocked in by an RBI single from Matt Hegre. Connor King, on the RBI fielder's choice, knocked in Holden Jackson. All of a sudden, it's a 2-1 ball game for the Hard Hats. You got to credit Cheyenne because at no point this weekend were they out of the game by any question. The furthest deficit that they had was a 4-run deficit, and that was back in Game 1 for the latter parts of the contest until they had a 4-run rally to tie it in the bottom of the 6th. But now they come back in the bottom half of the 5th, and they take a 3-2 lead on two hits to score twice. Once again, a leadoff walk came back to bite the Hard Hats. Cody Brooks took a leadoff walk, came around to score. Jackson Hesford not only knocked him in, but then he was knocked in on an RBI double from Storm Nelson in the gap. So all of a sudden, the Hard Hats have to play with their back against the wall. They go to the top of the 6th inning. Alex Weaver doubles with an out, and then he's knocked in by Holden Jackson, an RBI single, and that ends up making it a 3-3 ball game. We go to the bottom half of the 6th, though, and this is where the controversy surrounds the second win for the Hard Hats. Max Pedroza has the go-ahead run on first with 1 out, an 0-2 count. I personally thought from behind home plate he checked his swing. The infield umpire called that he went around. It got the Cheyenne head coach so fired up that he got ejected. The out stood, and then Cody Brooks was retired in a 6-4 fielder's choice. The Hard Hats use that momentum. They go to the top of the 7th inning, and then that's where all the errors built up that I told you about. Cooper Bowman led off by reaching on an E5, and then Connor King tried to drop the bunt, bunted it right to the pitcher, and he's going to make the smart decision. He went to second base to get the lead runner, and they knocked out Cooper Bowman. So Connor King gets the 1-6 fielder's choice, and he's safe on first. To his credit, though, he made up for the lack of executing on the bunt and stole second. Put himself in scoring position with 2 outs in particular. Zach Sumption comes up, hits a fly ball to his position in right field. Alec Clark dropped it. It went right off the end of his glove, and he couldn't snag it. That's a 2-base error that allowed Connor King to come home and score. That was the game-winning run, and that allowed the Hard Hats to take a 4-3 lead in the bottom of the 7th. And then Jack Sorensen was just dynamite in his final inning of 2 in relief. 2 strikeouts and 3 batters, the first and third, and that ended the threat. And the Hard Hats took their second win of the day in the doubleheader and won the game 4-3. So Jack Sorensen gets the win. He is the 3rd relief pitcher to be the final relief pitcher used in a game and get the win. So not a single starter for the Hard Hats has a win yet this year. Sorensen 1-0 on the mound. Ryan Andren, who was the final pitcher in relief for the Sixers, suffered the loss. Drew Messer started off the game for the Hard Hats on the mound. He went 47 pitches and 2+ innings of work, allowed a run that was earned on 3 hits, struck out 1, but he walked 4. Then Jake Goebel came in, and he put together a decent performance in 3 innings. He threw 49 pitches, struck out 1, walked a trio, allowed 2 runs on 2 hits in 3 innings, and then that was when Jack Sorensen came down and locked it down. I feel bad for Andren suffering the loss because he pitched an inning, didn't allow a hit. The run that he allowed was unearned, and he did it all in 13 pitches. So unfortunately, he came in to try and lock things down as a high-velocity closer, if you will, but unfortunately ran into some bad luck. So that pretty much ends that there for our doubleheader today. A final game of the doubleheader ended up going 2 hours and 12 minutes. So a lot of baseball played today. 2 hours, 45 minutes game 1, 2 hours, 12 minutes in game 2. But the Hardhats come out 2-0, and they will conclude their series tomorrow with Cheyenne Post 6. Our game will start at 11:30 with coverage roughly beginning around 11:15, 11:20 tomorrow morning. Thanks so much for joining us for the doubleheader today, folks. For all of us with the Hardhats organization, from head coach Kelvin Torvey on to the rest of his staff, Wayne Sullivan, the general manager, and all of our friends at Algo Broadcasting at ESPN Rapid City, and my director of Hardhats-TV, Seth Harwood. This is Mark Benetti saying so long. Enjoy your evening of Cinco de Mayo, and we will see you tomorrow for our final game of the series against the Sixers.